And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey, are you a hacker? I'm not. But we all hear about hackers. The very Hollywood makes them look cool. They type in a keyboard for a while and they break in other people's systems. And in real life, they can be real pains in the necks. But here, I guess you want to be in a league of hackers. You want to be an excellent hacker at the same time. Stop people from hacking into your own computers. Sounds fun, I guess. In reality, this is a card game that lets you use cards for multiple purposes. Well, that actually really does sound fun. Let's hope. Table is a scoring track, and you're going to see here that there's 3 rounds in a game. Each round has 5 actions. These actions are going to revolve around a deck of cards. These cards are either attack cards or defense cards, and they're various colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. Each player is also going to start the game with a server. You'll notice that I have a server here that has 2 spots in it that are red and blue. And then there will be some other servers that you'll be able to buy as the game progresses. You will be able to buy bigger servers like this server with 4, or in round 2, the servers with 3. Now, what players are going to be doing is each action of the game, they're going to take their 4 action tiles. They're going to take whatever action tile they're going to use, and they're going to couple that with some cards from their hand, or a card from their hand, put underneath, and then reveal them. The actions will take place with the 1 actions happening first, then the 2, then the 3, then the 4. What do the actions do? Well, action 1 lets you install a new server. So I can take one of these servers here from the middle of the table and place it in front of me. Each server has a cost. You'll notice that this server here has a cost of $1. That basically means a card. I discard a card from my hand to get that server in play. Another action that you can do on your turn is defense. There are many different defensive cards in the game, like this defensive card here. Now, this defensive card here has a cost of 0, so I simply put that underneath the defense card and I play it. If I pick this defense card here that has a cost of 1, I would have to put another card underneath that, so this would be the defensive card, and this card I would pay to put this card into play. Each defensive card is going to defend you against a certain color attack. So this would defend me against a 1 red attack, this would 2. And players have a little player board in front of them in which they can keep track. As I put defensive cards in front of me, I might say, okay, I'm defended 2 against yellow, 2 against blue, 3 against red, and nothing against green. But as you put these in front of you, these defensive cards also give you special bonuses. Like this one here lets you rotate the card, tap the card if you will, once per round to heal 2 damage to one of your servers. This one here, this defensive card, is simply, it gives you 1 defense against all the different colors. And so there's all different sorts of defensive cards. And that's because there are attack cards in the game. Now, there are different types of attack cards. There are cards like this that can attack any color, but there are also cards that will attack a very specific color. When you attack somebody, you are going to attack everybody who has server holes in that color. So here, for example, I'm attacking yellow. And now the strength of my attack is going to determine how many cards I play. For example, I could play 1 card and I would have a 6 strength attack. If I pay 2 cards, 9 strength attack. If I pay 3 cards, I have 9 strength attack and it's direct damage, which means it bypasses defenses. Let's say I play only 2 cards. I do 9 damage, and if someone attacked me, so let's say here I am. These are my 2 servers that I have in front of me. I've been attacked by a 9 yellow attack. I can block 2 of that, so it only does 7 damage to me. However, I can only take damage here. Each of these holes can only take 4 damage. So I take 4 damage, the other 3 damage is gone. But had I had 2 yellow servers, then I would have to take 3 in one and 4 in the other. You have to kind of spread the damage out as evenly as possible. So the person who does the attack then will get points equal to the most damage that they do to a single player. And if they hit me again with another yellow attack, it's not going to do much damage. The most it can do is add 1 more damage to this. And so that's how attacks work. And attacks have all sorts of different things that they can do. The attacks that hit multiple colors tend to be weaker attacks, like this one here. I could pay a card and attack red, yellow, green, or blue, and I would get a 6 attack, which isn't as powerful as that 9. And if I attacked red, for example, and here this person has a defense of 3, only 3 would get through. Which brings us to the last action that you can take, the mitigation here. Each card that you put underneath mitigation lets you basically heal 3 damage from one of your server holes here. Now, this will continue. There's a possibility that you have nothing to do for some of the actions if you use all the cards in your hand. At the end of a round, each hole here that you have that has no damage is going to score you a point. Then at the bottom of each card, you will get extra points if the entire card is clear. So here, I'll get an extra bonus point, while later on in the game, if I manage to have all 4 holes in this one free, I would get 3 points. So that essentially gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 3 more, 7 points. And after 3 rounds and 5 actions, whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Now the game is all about the different cards that you have here, and there's going to be different combos that you can put together. Whenever I do direct damage to another person, I get an extra victory point. Here, every time I get a new server, then I get a victory point. And so you have all these different special actions here, and they're all mentioned in the book. Each player has a card here that tells you how to play the game, and also what all the different symbols mean. This game is going to be compared, I think, to Race for the Galaxy because of the different actions you take, which utilizes cards in different ways. Essentially, you're kind of building a tableau in front of you of different servers that will, you know, the more servers you have in front of you, you can only have 5 max, but the more bigger servers you have, at the end of each round, you can get a ton of points. But the more servers you have, people can attack you. And I still haven't figured out if it's best to have a bunch of servers of one color and then build your defense up in that one color and hope, you know, try to fight off that one color, or have them multiple colors, because in one color, you can't have just one, but if you have mostly in one color, at the same time an attack can be very devastating to you, and people will be trying to attack you so that they can get a pile of points. Your initial thoughts, as mine were, would be that attacking is extremely powerful in this game. You hit someone, you get 8 points. You hit someone, you get 6 points. And at the end of the round, the first round, the servers will get you 3, 4 points. Woohoo! But the way the game is supposed to work is, yes, attack's supposed to get you a lot of points, and servers can get you a lot of points, but you need to make your attacks hit at the right point and keep other people's attacks from being as effective as possibly can with your proper defense. Defense cards are much better at the beginning of the game because they build your defense up and give you some cool bonuses and tricks and combos that you can do with the attack cards later on. Server cards are good at any time, although they get progressively more expensive. Paying 3 cards for a server, paying 2 cards for a server later on is expensive because you only have 8 cards per round. So defense cards get better as time goes by. Attack cards are good all around. But when to use them, when to build servers, there's a lot of interesting things here. The game is good, okay? I like the game, but I feel like it could have been great. There's one major problem with the game, and that's that the hand of cards is just, you can really get hosed over by an unlucky draw. Let's say, for example, we're playing a 3-player game, and the other players are building up red and yellow and blue things in their servers, and I draw my final hand for the final round where everything counts big time, and I get a whole pile of defense cards and green attack cards. Well, that's not any good because the one thing I can attack them if they barely have anything in. And the defense cards, they're okay, they'll get me a few points, but I really need to do some major things. Oh, okay, I can buy servers in the final round, but I buy those servers and I don't have the proper defense for the colors that are out there. It's possible. I've seen it. I've played the game several times, and each time I saw points where someone just had bad luck. I would have preferred there had been some sort of drafting in this game. You draw a handful of cards, take one, pass it around. I know that would have added to the length of the game. There was, in the rules, it says you can let players who are playing for the first time draw 3 extra cards, and then you discard down to 8. I would recommend playing that way all the time. Every round, everyone draws 11 cards and discard 3 of them. And I think the game would be a tighter game because of that. But it is interesting. The artwork it's kind of a mix. There's some kind of cool artwork, and then there's some really weird chibi manga artwork, and I don't know that fits with hacking of servers. As it is, though, some pretty cool things here. I'd like to see, it's good, and I enjoy it, and I like playing it. I'd like to see some of it reworked, revamped, maybe streamlined a bit. Some of the graphic choices could have been better. For example, the cards that let you attack in multicolors, make it look like you can only attack in the red with one card, the yellow with 2 cards, the green with 3 cards. That's kind of confusing. Took us a while to figure out that you could attack in any color. And just niggling things like that. It's just like on the cusp of being a card game that everyone's talking about. As it is, though, still pretty solid game. League of Hackers. Dice Tower Judgment. Approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Închide ușa!
De?